Alright, welcome to the team. Alright, let's keep this. Really hoping to draw a green source. Could maybe just throw a culture too. Duke, 60 months, thank you. You're doing well. This with Ragavans? So is it like Ragavan over Hierarch? The one of Hexdrinker got us. Duke, 60 months, thank you. Yeah, we 4-1 that league. We lost playing for 5-0, so let me reset the record. But also mold to 6 here. Up against Hammer. Oh, no. Humans. Ice-Fang is probably pretty great in this matchup. I'm just going to go ahead and Thoracle. We really need to hit green source. Obviously kind of a weird mulligan. Could be better to hold up the Counterspell, but it seems fine. Opponent's wondering how I'm going to exile my library in response. We have neither. No lands on top, so I'm happy to scribe both those to the bottom. Humans in a Fury economy? Yeah, they're playing Shining Shoal to protect against Fury. Oh, Luminarch Aspirant's so good. Okay, take 3. Let's go, let's go. Damn it. This is so embarrassing. It's like the worst draw by a lot right after the canister raid. That's 9 looks at a green source and we miss. We have one more. Nicole, 2 months, thank you. Yeah, deck is out of stamina. Not a green source. Let's just go to game 2. Probably not a terrible matchup overall. I'm going to bring in these Path of Perils. I'm going to cut the non-creature counterspells, bring in the Murderous Cut. Seems fine. Seems fine. We have 12 fetches, 2 forests, 2 breeding pool, 1 triome. That's 17 green sources. Tough, tough, tough. To celebrate, how about Turn the Earth instead of Abundant Growth? 4-man deck Turn the Earth, Tom. Why Abundant Growth? We could maybe make a command for this, but this is kind of older tech with Ice-Fang. Having black requirements on turn 1, double blue, blue-green, snow requirements for Ice-Fang, double green for Endurance, double black for Inverter. Your mana is like a nightmare, but growth like does help a ton, and it like actually makes the mana base functional. It also gives you a density of green cards for Endurance. There's like almost no other green card you'd really consider playing. You're also a Force of Vigor deck, so the density of green cards is important there. It also gives you like resilience to Blood Moon, which is really important when you're a combo deck in a scam meta. That resilience to Blood Moon is really valuable. Yeah, but for the most part, like you know, this is also true in like the 4-color decks that you saw when your end was legal. Like a big part of the reason why Ice-Fang was good in that deck was like the presence of Abundant Growth. I'm almost even scared to ask if anybody can like recommend another green card that you want to play in the main deck, but I was really racking my brain a little bit because like 12 is low for pitch count, but obviously you hardcast Endurance most of the time, but you want to be able to pitch it, and like there's basically nothing else. Yeah. Sprawl. I think Sprawl would be like so much worse for the mana fixing. Ruby, 6 months, thank you. Ugh. No, stop! Fuck, the mana was not this bad last league. I feel like the shuffler like loves the mono white humans deck. It just loves to give the mono white humans deck a chance. Okay, go to 5. Reasonable 5. We go Triome Island, I think. Birds of Paradise is like almost unplayable in Modern. It's good in Yawgmoth exactly. So in this deck, I've tried to do this a few times. Bloodbrain Marauder plus Resurgent Belief. The problem is Marauder is it takes so long to get Delirium, even when you're playing Faithful Mending, these kind of cards. Delirium just takes like way too long, and I've always that's kind of like always been my biggest issue with this shell is Marauder's like just not that good of a card. It is cool to have, in theory, to have this 2-mana Cascader. So Ideas Inbound is your answer. I feel like I'd much rather play Faithful Mending, so you can play much more at instant speed, right? Like max out on Faithful Mending. You know, it doesn't loot for as much. Oh, the Ideas Inbound is good when you have Omniscience in play, though. I see. No, I'm kind of into it. So, you know, I guess I could definitely see me being wrong about this dynamic with... I think I'm getting Watery Grave. Okay, it said ring at the door. Let me check my phone. It's an interesting list. Hold on. But I've tried this build a few times and gotten like very, very stuck. Culling Ritual over Path of Peril. In this deck, the difference between like the difference in like mana value is just like they chose 0. They think I'm a Cascade deck, I guess. That's good for me. No, just the difference between 2 and 3 against like Hammer is just like so important. I don't think so. And against Yawgmoth too, or 3 and 4 rather. Color Ritual's free. It costs 4 mana at first. Like on turn 4, especially on the draw, is too slow a lot of the time. We'll hold up Deluge as Counterspell. And like yeah, you have like this deck is like all instants, enchantments. I guess you have source. Yeah, maybe if Delirium is like just like not that hard to get, then I'm on board. I wouldn't play Fae of Wishes. I would play. I would likely be on like the 4th Faithful Mending before the 1st Thirst for Meaning. I know it's maybe better with Omniscience, but like you really need to loot on turn 2 so you can Cascade on turn 3. But I do think that the overall look of the list seems fine. You might. Oh, so the idea is you can Eldarmy's Call for Fae of Wishes or Emrakul. Is this necessary? Yeah, you don't need both of these. You don't need Emrakul and Fae of Wishes to like Eldarmy's Call for when you have Emrakul in play. When you have Omniscience in play, you don't need both. You just one of them should be fine. I honestly like the more I look at this list, the more I look at this list, the more I do feel like it is better than anything I had. So kind of just like a lot of loose thoughts. Yeah, I also like really dislike wasting 2 sideboard slots on Internet Infinite and Time Stretch. Like I would almost like much rather just like get like the 2nd Typhoon and then you have like plenty of win cons in the deck. Maybe I'm wrong, but really seems like this is a waste of a slot to me. Or it's either or you could play Fae of Wishes over Emrakul if you want also and like keep like the combo, but can't be countered, so it's not counter. Hopefully find Path of Peril. That was the wrong thing to target because now they can't attack with anything effectively. They could have put the counter on the Prelate to attack. Be cool to win this on the Mold of 5. Yeah, it looks like the Shining Shoal version. I have a hard time imagining that it's not that version, I guess. I don't know what version it would be. Okay, so we have Snow online. if I draw Thassa's Oracle, I'm going to cast Inverter here. If I don't draw Thoracle... Oh, wow, double Ice-Fang this turn is so nuts. Okay. So yeah, so there's kind of some loose thoughts, but I think this is generally a very good draft. I don't like Thirst for Meaning. I think you should cut Emrakul or Fae of Wishes. You could play the third Eldarmer's Call over the second Arcane Proxy. Just have one Arcane Proxy to call for. But overall, the more I look at the list, the more I like it, and I think I can see like a lot of thought and love has gone into it, and I wish you luck on your journey. I almost want to block the Sanctum Prelate. Wow, no attacks. It's wild. What is Shining Shoal's interaction with Death Touch? I think it's the Shoal itself that ends up dealing the damage. So I think it's like doesn't matter, but could matter if I'm wrong about that. Okay, so we're one land away from Flashback Deluge. Yeah, you might be right, though. We can get maybe a judge to chime in. Yeah, MTG bought us down, but we lost playing for 5-0 last league. Wow, they're just like not sending at all. I think I do want to get the other Endurance in play. I have Murderous Cut to like reduce my graveyard if I draw Oracle. I want to use my mana because I've got the Deluge in the yard also. I just want to gum up the board. Ooh, what a draw. I'm not main decking Dead of Winter. I don't know. Dead of Winter is a card that people like, but it's not a card that's like very good. You know what I mean? It's just so mediocre. I'm gonna use my Counterspell here since I'm not gonna like with Double Cavern. I don't really have like much opportunity to counter anything. Oh right, Magistrate stops the flashback. I have to Murderous Cut it first. Okay, so we'll just go. Okay, I think we can win this turn. Murderous Cut, fetch 7 cards in the graveyard, Inverter, Thoracle. The problem is if my opponent has Solitude, we lose. But we can just go for the win next turn. Okay, I guess if they have Solitude, we still have 2 Devotion. I think that's 1 short, right? Because we have, well, 3. Yeah, we're 1 short of winning this turn through a Solitude. So we'll just... I don't think we're under like nearly enough pressure to play around that. Guess I don't need to kill the Magistrate though anymore. Kill the Aspirant. Solitude, no human. They'd be back deck building. They play 4 Solitude usually. Sure, should have left up the Ice-Fang. It doesn't really matter, though. We should have. Oh, I miscounted, actually. We could still technically win, but if they have... We're going to play around Solitude. Do you think we need to run more Delta stuff to clear the bid for Inverter? We have 4 Endurance. The Endurances are like the main way you clear the way for Inverter. Which is better than like a bunch of Del spells, which can just be very awkward for a plethora of reasons. Okay, I think we beat Adeline. Yeah, Prelate doesn't stop creatures. I don't think there's much they can have. Prelate's also bugged on Magic Online where it, or at least it has been bugged on Magic Online where it doesn't stop X spells with the right mana value. Okay, game 3. One of the bolt of 5. Probably says good things about our matchups, right? Also they like thought we were a Cascade deck for some reason. They like prelated on 0. They saw Thassa's Oracle though. It was actually the only card they saw, so I'm like not surprised they were confused, but they were definitely confused. Oh, awesome, Colgrain. Thank you. Yeah, my opponent also just never attacked in their mono white humans deck. Yeah, new Inverter Brew. It's been going pretty well. Yeah, we lost playing for Trophy, unfortunately. We got both dogs here. Let me see if I can get the camera to Athena. She's sleeping. Hello, Athena. I miss the old days of the stream where I was streaming in my living room and Athena was just always on the couch in the background. Alright, let's keep this. Kind of a slow hand, but this is much slower deck than Hammer. Kind of a bad against Sentinel on the play though. Okay, just a champ, awesome. We did beat the Pox deck, yeah, unfortunately. Some good draws here. Second Ice-Fang is good for sure. Gonna take, a hit this turn. Adeline is so nuts. Okay, hopefully they don't put the counter on the Aspirin itself and I can block it. They know what's up. Not too hard to play against. We draw Fatal Push, restabilize pretty well. I think I'm just gonna main phase Ice-Fang here so I can figure out what land to play if I need Revolt for Fatal Push. Okay, we need them to not have removal. Thankfully their deck has very little removal. Apparently so does mine. Another Aspirant doesn't change. No, it does actually change a lot, where they get to play counter here, put me to 1. I do have 2 Path of Perils I could draw as an out, but I think... Oh no, I'm dead. I'm dead, right? Xaxes, because I forgot about the Adeling token. Very good draw for my opponent. Very slow draw by me. Xaxes. Alright, let's see if the top card was Path. Destroy target land. Thank you for the 29 months. Hope you're doing well today. Alright. Otawara. Otawara, go. Alright, up against likely Murktide. Could be, obviously, Breach, though. Murktide matchup, I think, is very good. We know we're an Endurance, Ice-Fang, Fatal Push deck. Deluge is really good against them. I beat it last night. It felt like a strong matchup. I don't think we played against, Murktide today. We did play against Fair Breach today, though. I think I'm supposed to use Push here instead of Spell Snare. Spell Snare is just, answering Counterspell iteration feels really relevant right now. Could definitely see the argument going the other way. Although I think pushing before they played the land was probably right, because now I'm playing around Spell Pierce. I didn't have to. Although I think I am partial here to just slam the Endurance. I really like that they don't have Delirium, so they can't heat the Endurance. There's, Lux down the board. Stops Ragavan or DRC or Murktide from getting me. Does mean I can't Spell Snare iteration, but the Snare is really, really good against Murktide, so we'll get something in this game. Hit Bobble, Connive again. Have we comboed off pretty regularly? Yeah, almost all of our wins have been through combo. We did have like one like tempo inverter win that I remember. There was one game where we like could have won with endurance as we won with the combo instead. They graveyard or discard the Unholy Heat. We are not blocking if they attack. They're still their turn. Still their turn. They started to pay cost and then decided against it. I think we're just pass. It's kind of tough. But we only lose the fight to like counterspell, but I really don't want to go push. They counterspell, I spell snare, and then they just have like free reign to do anything on their turn. Now, my opponent playing slow in general, that doesn't mean that they're ghosting. I only pulled out the Charbelcher against Prowess because they were tanking on every decision when like I have counterspell up when they're like a Prowess deck with like one card in their hand. You know. And there's nothing sus about the way my opponent's currently playing. Yeah, so I mean, if they have exactly counterspell, it's tough. But then we get to like untap and deluge. They can also slam a Murktide here, which would be like not that ideal. Yeah, so the record's 0-1. I need to keep this up to date. Guess Murktide's only 6/6 at the moment, which theoretically could trade for an inverter. Crazy idea. Put the deck in a 5-color shelf ephemerate. Rate. That is kind of crazy. We used to play Inverter Herder. That was an old brew like before Modern Horizons 2. Let me see if I can find that. Inverter Herder. I don't know. It's got 3 cards in their hand here. I am just going to main phase this. If they have Spell Pierce, they have Spell Pierce. Maybe I was supposed to upkeep it. Give them one less luck. Alright, hand's looking strong enough. Yes, this is old. This is from March 2021. 9-1 on stream. I can't see it. 9-1 on stream today with Inverter Herder. Oh, this deck was so sick. I had Niambi in the deck. Wow. Oh, this deck was so sick. These numbers look so weird to me now. Ugh. Well, my opponent is probably they must have Unholy Heat, right? Petty Theft plus Counterspell. Dude, don't you just love when you're like trying to think what it is your Murktide opponent has, and you're like, oh, it's just Petty Theft. It's like every single time you're like, oh, I can't believe it's just Petty Theft. This is awesome. Alright, so we do this, get the Channeler off the field, and we'll trade Endurance for Counterspell their upkeep. Oh, thank goodness it's just Counterspell. If it was like any card that mattered. Alright, interesting spot. I think we're not supposed to cast the Inverter here. I think I'm supposed to deluge from hand in response to the Borrower being cast. Not ideal. Should have done it from the graveyard, huh? It's got 3 cards in their hand. I'm going to 9. think I'll leave this unfetched. I can just like Abundant Growth the land here without too much trouble. I don't think we're flashing back the Deluge this turn. I do like seeing Ice-Fang. I think I'm going to cast Inverter. Let's take a snip of my graveyard here. Kind of expect this to get countered, but that's okay. I'm going to just play my Ice-Fang in their upkeep. If the last card's an answer for it, that's okay. I only have one card left. Consideration flashback one graveyard instead. Yeah, my problem was like that just used my whole turn, played into Spell Pierce. I really wanted to like find like if I could like find like push or Ice-Fang or Counterspell off the first Deluge. I think that ended up being better. Alright, Heat makes a lot of sense to be in their hand. So I'm down to 6. They're down to just one card though. Let's see what we draw off this Abundant Growth. Fatal Push, sure. So I'm 1 mana short of Flashback Deluge plus Push. I know I cast the Inverter last turn. I think that I'm going to try to win the game with these Deluges. So I'm actually going to cast my Thassa's Oracle. Just like to like a hedge against Ragavan mostly, and then push the Borrower, and then set up for like, you know, Deluge flashbacks galore. Yeah, there's definitely an argument for inverting now, but I think I think I'd prefer to be on the Deluge plan. At this point with my opponent like just not having very many resources, they're in top deck mode and could be correct to upkeep Endurance them because of Murktide, but I think I would prefer just to start deluging. I just take Ice-Fang, Ice-Fang. Could take the Thoracle, but like, I like how do they beat Ice-Fang, Ice-Fang here? Card is so good at this point in the game. I guess how they win is they eventually just draw 2 bolts. They could have 1. I don't think they can have 2 right now. Obviously, we can endurance ourselves at some point, but we're mostly just like in the control role here. I know that I could wait for the Channeler to attack. And yeah, I guess I should have done that because Murktide region itself is really just not a problem here, huh? They do have a bolt. They do have 1 bolt here. Let's put the card on the bottom. So you really need to find a counterspell. Oh, fuck. Bummer. That game definitely felt winnable. It was tough, I don't know. Not sure exactly. We definitely went wrong somewhere. I'm trying to identify where it was. Do you remember how I sideboarded last night? Also, remember I cut 1 of each piece of the combo. I brought in the Veils. I think I'm cutting second Spell Pierce. I think the second Spell Pierce in the play is fine. Yeah, we won 1 game with Inverter Beatdown. Okay, let's keep this. Looks great against Murktide. Don't like how this hand doesn't play great against Blood Moon. But, you know, get a forest here at least. I'm going to go just play the Ice-Fang on their upkeep. Just prioritize resolving this. I don't really care if they tap out for a creature. If they have Spell Snare, good beats. Do you have second Spell Snare? Spell Snare is so freaking good. Don't play... Triome plus a bunch of basics is better than Snow Duels. I would try a version with Murktide. Maybe like a long time ago, but those versions are not very good in my opinion. Murktide is just not a card that fits into the Inverter archetype well, in my opinion. It's not terrible, but... You feel like Verdant Command could be worth playing? I fucking hope so. I would love to be like, yeah, dude, let's get Verdant Command in here. Green, 3 months, thank you. Honestly, if the squirrels entered untapped, I'd be kind of down, but they just like, it just doesn't block Ragavan. Opponent, would you like to counterspell my Endurance? Seems like a good time to counterspell Endurance. Kind of have I tried imagining that they shouldn't cast Counterspell here. Listen, I put the hand hider up last time because it was like really, really obvious. It's my opponent can, you know, this is like an okay decision to tank on. Okay, let's just read Verdant Command. Ferrix, 4 months, thank you. Okay, make 2 tap squirrels. Counter loyalty ability of a Planeswalker. Exile a card, gain 3 life. Man, I wish those squirrels entered untapped. Ferrix, 4 months. Clock to tier 1. But boy, do I love this card. What cards am I most excited about trying that are in the new set? We don't have the new set spoiled, so we'll see. Okay, they decide not to counter, which stinks. I feel like most Murktide players would counter there, but that's okay. Steve, 4 months? 14 months, thank you. Yeah, definitely cool to play this deck. Weird my opponent isn't doing anything. But I'm not complaining. Huh. I think I'm gonna Thoracle here. Frieza, 25 months, thank you. Happy 2 years. Yeah, we're gonna do some more Dark Souls runs tonight. I'm gonna take a lunch break first. Maybe record a little bit off stream, we'll see. This has been like one of the weirdest games against Murktide I've ever played. Jeff, 24 months, also 2 years. Very cool. Thank you. Not gonna counter a bolt on a Thoracle. Like, my opponent has 7 cards in their hand, and they are all spells. Okay, it is literally always Brazen Borrower. When you're like, my Murktide opponent isn't doing anything good that Murktide players usually do. They're not playing any threats. They're not killing any of my permanents. They're not doing anything. What could possibly be in their hand that their draw would be so mediocre here? It is always Brazen Borrower. That is always the card in their hand that is like allowing you to win the game. That is always the card. And I you know, y'all play your borrowers. I can't. What am I going to do about it? But it is always Brazen Borrower. I think on the draw I'm going to cut the 3rd counterspell for a 2nd Spell Pierce. Like, it doesn't. Their hand doesn't make any sense. How could they possibly have anything that isn't killing me? It's always the borrower. Okay, let's get Watery Grave off of Misty. That's true. They also had 6 other cards too, but they also have in game 1. Like I'm like, what in the world could my opponent have here? Borrower. Borrower's versatile. I mean, every Magic card in the world is like a scale of versatile versus powerful, and Borrower is also like, Borrower's not that versatile. It just bounces a freaking thing. But Borrower is actually not a versatile card. It literally just bounces an opponent's permanent and then is a 3/1. It literally only does one thing. It feels versatile because like you don't know the times to cast it because it's always mediocre. And like you even have Odawara as like an out to a random ensnaring bridge. It's just, I don't know. I'm a hater. What can I say? Are we playing Archmage Triome on my work? I don't know. I don't know what I do with the flex spots. But I wouldn't be playing the Borrower. I might be playing a Fury in the main deck. I might be playing an Archmage's Triome. I might be playing a Blood Moon. I might be playing like one extra creature, like one extra Ledger Shredder, Murktide. Yeah, Dingo. I'm glad that you finally tried it. I always really like that one. I always think the deck's really good. It's like the hammer matchup is really tough though. Opponent is a deep in the tank on this one. Their hand is second Ragavan and then 3 other cards. Lost close skip to the Tide. Yeah, Tide's usually a fine matchup, but obviously can lose to it. Usually just like the main phase endurance in these spots. Just like blocks up the board so well. So board 28 months, thank you. Glad you like the stream. Keeps the card on top. Tempo, baby! It's all about that tempo. So I discard Ragavan. What an endurance with Veil up. Watch this fancy play. You ready for the fancy play? No block. You just definitely have a burn spell here. My block next turn. Hold on. Definitely want to put this on a Shocklands because of Blood Moon. Way too fancy? I don't know. I feel like it was. I don't know if you're just teasing me. I feel like it was right. So I can push. I don't like if I push now. I'm triggering Connive. Yeah, they might also attack with both, and I can go like block Borrower, push here, and they kill the. That'd be good. Yeah. I've got the Veil up, so I don't need to be too worried about counter magic. They have to have like I can pay for Spell Pierce too, so they have to have double Counterspell. If I somehow lose this fight, I do think I need to block. So let's do this before blocks. Okay. 4 cards in my opponent's hand. One of them is most likely a burn spell. Like that draw. Feels good to be playing a combo deck like this that's just full of decks that are good against Murktide, Endurance, Ice-Fang, Veil of Summer, Deluge. I learned about Tomb of Rami from worst MTG cards queue, finding out modern players wild. Yeah, the more I think about Tomb of Rami, the more I think it's funny that people think the card is terrible. Like, imagine a red land that says 4 mana, tap, sacrifice it, deal 5 damage to your... Sacrifice all your lands, deal 5 damage to your opponent. That would be a very good and very playable card. Just the game-ending effect of dealing 5 damage uncounterable at the end is... At the cost of a land that enters untapped, it does pain you, is like a pretty good deal, I think. And it's funny because like Tomb of Rami is almost that by itself. While also of course having like Mayhem Devil synergies. Yeah, last league we lost to green-red, like this green-red Hex Drinker Brew. And this league we lost to Mono-White Humans. Good attack. Seems okay. Yeah, Tube doesn't quite do that, of course, but it's very close to that by itself. And like, if you think it's gonna die to, if you think your token's gonna die to push, like you just don't have to sacrifice all your lands. You know what I mean? Am I finally gonna get to cast the stupid Veil of Summer? Finally. They must have just drawn this also. They get it in. Not a big difference between being at 4 and being at 5, so we'll block the Ragavan. When I pay 3 there, I think it's bad exchange for me if I pay the 3. Too much can go wrong. I'm not going to crack this fetch and die to a bolt, so just cast Inverter of Truth, baby. Somehow. What does this cost? They don't have Delirium, so I feel pretty safe about just sending here. Borrower can block Inverter of Truth, though. Got 2 cards in their hand. Caleb, who I think is on Green-Red or Blue-Red Storm. I remember he tweeted something about Blue-Red Storm last night with the treasure card. I don't think I've played against Hammer yet. I don't think your Hammer matchup's that bad. Like, they can't interact with your combo, and your like Fatal Push is the best removal spell against Hammer. It's probably not amazing though. I think my opponents are slower because they aren't trying to look bad on stream. Yeah, that's part of it. It's, some of them are not trying to look bad on stream, and some of them are trying to look at the stream, and it is what it is. Yeah, or the full 4 forces post board too. So funny today. I put up a hand hider today. My opponent immediately started playing so fast or playing the rest of the game so slow. I did consider Logic Knot. Yeah, I think with the endurance plan of endurancing yourself, you really only want to play 1 Delve spell. I think that I need that Delve spell to be Murderous Cut over Logic Knot. But I'm a Logic Knot fan. Why splash green instead of white? Endurance is the main card. Also, like, Endurance Ice-Fang lets you play this like really cool instant speed draw go game plan that gums up the board and like is hard for your opponent to interact with. And Endurance also endurances yourself for the inverter combo. I do think I'll probably play Endurance end of turn here to put some pressure on my opponent here. Is it Logic not just strictly worse than Counterspell? Well, 2 things. No, it's not. In this deck, being able to exile your own graveyard is an upside, so it's not strictly worse than Counterspell. But secondly, when a deck that's already playing 4 Counterspells can consider playing the first copy of Logic Knot. I even kind of think the first copy of Logic Knot is probably good in blue-white control. In my experience, the first copy of Logic Knot is basically just a 5th counterspell with very small differences. My hand is very good against Storm. Yeah, Logic Knot is also better against Drown in the Lock. It makes a bigger Shark when you have a Shark Typhoon in play. It's better against Spell Snare, which is like a real played card again. Not just strictly better. Logic Knot has relevance against Surgical. There's like a surprising amount of like weird upsides with it. Why is Endurance more important than Solitude? Because it shuffles your graveyard, so you can Inverter combo. Also, I don't know. It's also like castable in a way that Solitude isn't. I should have Oracle in my hand. I could just slam Inverter with Force Up. One's already down to 10. Could just like aggro and Inverter, honestly. If I draw a blue card, if I like counterspell something here, draw a blue card, definitely not counting this with the push in my hand. I always like to in combat push the Electromancer in these spots, just in case they're like F6 checking me. I am kind of feeling the idea of just like cast Inverter with Force Up and attack for 9 next turn. Probably better just to have Counterspell plus Hardcast Counterspell, Hardcast Force Up. Could be fun to take the line against Caleb, though. I'm not going to, though. Caleb plays really tight. Yeah, main deck Endurance also like makes a lot of matchups like just a lot better in addition to being a good card. Clyde, 14 months, thank you. Irving with 6 months. We're thinking about the 100k bounty for the One Ring card. It's like way too low, honestly. The card, like if you do not, if you open the One Ring, don't take the 100k bounty. You could probably sell. You could sell it for at least double that. That's my opinion, at least. Kings, 13 months, thank you. I think I'm supposed to force the Past in Flames here, since my opponent can, like, Manamorphose in response. Well, forcing the Remand just puts lethal on board too, and I have nothing else. Substitute. Yeah, it's just so tough for my opponent to win here. I force the Remand. It's close. This gives my opponent, like, 2 cards with the Brawl in play. Yeah, there's like a really good chance Post Malone just like offers $1 million for it, like immediately, or you know someone like that. But again, I don't know how much to sell for, but 100,000 seems to be like low, which is weird to say because that is a lot of money. Okay, they're gonna, oh, they can kill both Endurances. Oh damn! Am I gonna lose this? Caleb is so good. Well, I don't have another line. I had to force that. I don't think I did anything wrong. If it goes for too much money, I'll encourage Watsu to do this sort of thing again. Honestly, like, this is... I think it's a brilliant thing Wizards is doing. It doesn't cost them almost anything. They make 1 card. It's exactly 1 card. It's, like, the amount of, like, work that goes into it is not very much. And, like... It's just like a great advertising budget, honestly. I think that Wizards will likely do this kind of thing again, although probably rarely. But it's like it also doesn't like inflate any kind of market either, because it's literally just 1 card. It's just like a cool hype advertising thing for low cost. I think they did a great job with it. Am I getting repealed? No. Fail counters, gifts. I'm bringing that in. Like one Path of Peril for goblins. What if we actually just cut the entire combo? I can win a game with Ice-Fang and Endurances, right? Feel like a twin player siding out the combo post board. Yeah, we're talking about... So Wizards, in the new Lord of the Rings set, there's going to be one special printing of the One Ring card. There's only going to be one copy of it. And it looks really cool, and like someone has like an open offer to buy it for $100,000, but it's going to go for like a lot more than that. Do they not just win eventually? It's harder for them to have like a big degree of inevitability with the Endurances, I think, and the Path of Perils. Maybe they do, though. Maybe they just have the best late game. I'm not sure. Like, you still like that game, though. Endurance can put enough pressure on them, and they don't just have forever. And it's really hard to tap out for the Inverter combo, too. Oh boy, look at this hand. It is so unfair to Caleb to like run into like the freaking Force of Negation Counterspell deck. Like literally nobody else plays Force of Negation in their Counterspell deck. Yeah, 4-mana Endurance. So unlucky. Can spell Piercing Gifts here if Caleb goes for it. Could just miss land drops though. Nope. Awesome. Oh, this is Caleb Sure, not Caleb Gannon. Dude, I haven't seen a Caleb Gannon video in a while. I used to watch all of his videos. I don't know. Maybe the algorithm stopped putting them to me. I need to check them out again. Yeah, too many Calebs, huh? Maybe I'll legally change my name to Caleb as a joke. As like a funny goof. Alright, you cast your 4-mana draw spell. I'll cast my 4-mana draw spell. Everybody casts their 4-mana draw spell. Yeah, Aspiring Caleb. Aspiring Caleb. Which is honestly like basically true for my like Magic journey. My first ever modern deck was Caleb D. Grixis Delver. I wanted to be just like Caleb. Okay, I'm gonna grab a phone charger while my opponent tanks here. Other gifts and given. At like 4%. Thought process of green this deck over something like white, just endurance. Endurance and the green cards mostly. It's the green cards I'm playing. Over like literally like what white cards do you want? This is like, I don't know if you're the person who asked this earlier, but like Prismatic is a good one. I feel like there's a lot of good white cards. Well, Endurance plays well with the combo and plays well with the archetype playing at instant speed, and so does Ice-Fang. Prismatic Ending is also like super replaceable in general. It's great. You can have the rituals. We have the Path of Peril, so I'm not super worried about goblins here. Let's do 2 lands. But again, like the biggest hurdle that Inverter has to overcome is managing your own graveyard so you can combo in the mid to late game. And in my opinion, Endurance is like just the best card for that role, while also like fitting really well into just the Splinter Twin archetype in general. I'm pretty excited about it. All right, I think this is the turn we have our fight. I think I fight over Brawl actually. So much easier to lose. Ritual and response. You feel Breach could still similar role? No. Breach requires you too much to fill up your own graveyard. Spell Snare is also so crazy against a Storm. Goblins? Yeah, Spell Snare is great. You might want to play a second Spell Snare over second Spell Pierce. Yeah, we 4-1 the last league, so we're 5-2 on the day. I guess I need to Spell Pierce another Ritual if my opponent plays one, so I'm not dead to like just Grape Shot, Grape Shot. I think it's the 4-color Your Index. We're holding Snare back. I mean, no, Snare's like even good against those decks. Oh, okay, well. Like being able to counter Rin and like so important. I don't know. I think it's maybe more so like that Breach becoming popular, and Cascade decks becoming less popular. Both like lend themselves towards Snare becoming more playable. With the hand that I'm gonna mulligan, I guess. Keep this one. I think we'll put back the Triome. We can fetch it if we need it. Put back the Triome. You can fetch it if you need it. Against Creativity. Creativity is probably a fine matchup. Although, looks to be Rhinos actually. Let's play Island. Well, I feel blessed to have both of my Spell Pierces in my hand against Rhinos. I also think that our combo is really good against like Rhinos' suite of interaction. Like it doesn't really matter against like Force of Negation or any of their burn spells. Missing their third lane drop, classic Rhinos experience. I haven't seen Stomp in Rhinos in a long time. I don't think I'm ever spell piercing that here. My opponent's missing their land drops. They also run Subtlety. Usually not the main deck, but yeah, that is a good piece of interaction against this, for sure. Alright, let's Endurance myself. This card's dead gone. Why is it not better to run more fetches duels? Well, at a very simple level, this is a spell. You're not replacing lands for the abundant growths. But growths make the Ice-Fang requirements and like your very difficult mana requirements in general much easier, while also giving you a density of green cards for Endurance and Force of Negation. Like abundant growth is just kind of old tech with Ice-Fang. It just I know it looks kind of weird, but it really does tie the room together well. But on here for Blood Moon purposes, it also gives you insulation against Blood Moon, which otherwise like definitely can be a problem. Yeah. The trick is Endurance is your Del spell replacement, but on like another level, like this is a great example. Like I mean, maybe not a great example because my opponent never hit their 3rd land drop, but like, in the same way that like Splinter Twin used to be really good at like just like playing a Snapcaster and a Deceiver Exarch and Lightning Bolt and like chipping damage away. The combination of like Endurance Ice-Fang also like gums up the board in a very similar way, lets you play like completely at instant speed, lets you really maneuver well around your opponent's interaction because you are just an instant speed deck. And so like it's very cool to me that Endurance is a card that fits this deck's archetype while also being a modern staple while also solving the graveyard problem. And like in a way that to me looks like very like nice and elegant. No, I don't have enough qualifiers for another last chance. I only had 40. A lot of sideboard cards here. I will say that Endurance is like especially bad in this matchup though. Yeah, also like the fact that this doesn't go to the yard is nice too. Again, I know that they look so weird, the Abundant Growths, but oh, Spell Snare, gotta get out of here. I like to look at this. Maybe I get the Murderous Cut. It's the only way I can kill Fury though. Yeah, first cut's probably better than like first push even, 4th push. 3/3 Thoracle Inverter. The problem is, like I said, I have no Endurances anymore, which is like really important in this matchup. My graveyard's gonna be so freaking full, so maybe I have to play like 2 Endurance, 1 Ice-Fang. Can do that. Thoughts on Push versus Peril versus Damnation. Path of Peril versus Damnation. Path of Peril costs 3 mana. A Damnation costs 4 mana, so I'm like really into Path of Peril. Like it being 3 mana is so critical because it's like your Hammer Time sideboard card. Single Invoke Calamity in Team of Rhinos. I have a soft spot for that card. However, you know, people keep trying to solve Rhinos and they keep trying to be like. They keep trying to add fun cards, and they're like, invoke Calamity. My machinations are almost complete. I'll simply flashback 2 Rhinos, and this is what we need to be doing. But I don't know. I really think the answer to Rhinos is like it's like never going to be raising the mana curve. That's just it ain't it. I think you got to keep the curve as low as possible. Just something that's kind of what I like about the Become Immense tech, but also I don't know. There's also kind of like no wrong answers. Could you build the mana base with no fetches to keep fetches out of the graveyard? I don't think you need to. Fetches like you're in your Fatal Push deck too. Like you need the fetches. Fatal Push is your only good removal spell. Yeah, Arcane Proxy. It's like honestly like Rhinos is not also a deck that needs much solving. It is and continues to be one of the best decks in Modern. It is still to this day like criminally underplayed, and I for me it's just not a deck that really like has a lot of wiggle room, and the answer is also not like grindy 5 drop, right? It's also like not grindy 3 drop. Yeah, I don't know if it's Fable of the Mirror Breaker, you know. I think I just want to use both Pierces here. I think that the Pierces can get dead kind of quick. Also, if I draw a Thoracle, I can just slam Inverter. Did the Leyland Bindings Rhino's shell die out? I mean, I don't know if it died out so much as like people just typically don't like to play the deck. I think Leyline Binding is like really optimal in Rhinos. It's just I think it's like the best card printed for the archetype in a long time, and it's not that fun, it's not that flashy, but boy does it just like really do so much for you. Yeah, I've seen Rhinos plus creativity sometimes. It's kind of an okay thought. I'm gonna force this actually. Kind of like this. Let me see what we draw. Definitely don't mind just like slamming Inverter here. Take a little screenshot of my graveyard, which is now my library. Yeah, we only play Sultai decks on the stream. Always have. Again, the combo's just so good against them too, and they're also like likely just gonna die to this Inverter. We get to like it's almost the Inverter kind of counters these two footfalls because it like these just don't matter at all anymore either. It's kind of a weird way to phrase it, maybe. Deck tech for Frieza. Glimpse combo. Okay, so let's get a 4-1 prediction going. It'd be cool to get back-to-back 4-1s. Would also love to trophy. But not this league, huh? Potentially. Let's keep this. Hopefully we don't get Ragaband. I like the Gemstone Cavern in the sideboard is fine. I don't think it's like super mandatory, and like I would probably just end up playing like the 4th Force of Negation if you do feel like these twin shot snipers are really like that important. Also, they might not be that important, but if you think that they are, follow that instinct and keep them in. Just kind of some loose thoughts on an archetype I haven't played that much. Force has always felt so medium in Glimpse combo. I'm really surprised to hear that. Like, you're just Violent Outburst force them, right? In the Ragavan form, and then Murktide format. Yeah, I think Glimpse has always been kind of underrated, and it's a deck that I generally like. Twin Shot, I think, is better than Bone Crusher because it has an ETB for when you glimpse into it. I would think. Do I force Rin in 6? Okay, thankfully don't have to think about it. Oh, sorry, I gotta update the record. Oh, please cast Iteration. Damn. Not forcing the Red, though. Don't have enough resources. And Force is also really, really good against creativity. We can just, like, let them have a Ren, I think. Or we can... Do I Endurance in response to the Ren plus? There's actually a good chance I just want to Endurance myself. Yeah, I think I'm just going to, like, Endurance myself end of turn. Don't think there's anything I'd ever force. Don't like drawing more lands, but if I could just like Memory Deluge into a Thoracle, it's gonna be almost impossible to lose. Maybe Thoracle blue card is needed. Totally fine if they go like Chump plus Bolt. That's okay. If I find Thoracle, it's okay. Any decks that want a sideboard Plague Engineer? No. Not right now. Even if your local metagame is all tribal decks, I dissuade you against Plague Engineer. Let them play the tribal decks. Why do we endurance ourselves? One of the main reasons endurance is in this deck to target ourselves to keep our graveyard thin for inverter combo. So they go for creativity. I'm gonna deluge before forcing because I really need to find Thassa's Oracle. If they ultimate this Ren, we probably can't win. Was the Zinigos Worlds by Word My Radar? We're playing creativity with Gearhulk and Pioneer. Yeah, that version's been around for a long time. I had a lot of success with the Gearhulk version. I really like not just like losing the game to dead draws. I also like I just can't not get Spell Pierce on this channel. Right, probably gonna have to settle this post board. But this Inigos Worlds by Word, I don't know, I don't have a super strong opinion. I haven't played Pioneer in a long time at this point. Stupid Ren and 6. So if they go for creativity, it's kind of nice because I have the force to exile it. Think you'll be playing more Pioneer once we move on to a full Pioneer RCQ season? I don't know, maybe. I'll just continue to play, you know, what I'm interested in it, but I also like never really want to like have the stream be I'm learning Pioneer for the paper RCQ season. It's just so boring to me. I would have a really hard time being interested in that, focusing on it, all that stuff. It's like I think the stream is way more interesting when it's like, hey y'all, I think I figured out a really good way to build an inverter. Hey, I've got this idea, I've got that idea. We're reiterating on an old idea. I just think the stream is so much more boring when I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna die to these 1/1s. Yeah, I'm gonna cast this Deluge end of turn. I don't know what we could possibly beat though. Their hand has to be like all Archons, I guess. I mean, we have no outs. I'll just concede. I'll just move on. Okay, so I'm going to cut the pushes from the deck. We're going to bring in the third Spell Pierce. I'm going to bring in the forces. I'm going to keep my Spell Snare in. I don't want that many copies of Veil of Summer. Card's not terrible. Could bring in Pithing Needle for Ren. Yeah, their creativity. I think Ren is enough of a problem. I'd probably just rather have this. Yeah, I'm not sure why the audio is so quiet. I can make a note to work on it before we come back tonight for Dark Souls. I also just might be quiet myself because there's not a ton to talk about in games like that. I think there's a good chance I end up playing this deck in the challenge this weekend. That could be fun. Is that Death Shadow in the background? I don't have any Death Shadow. I've got Demonic Tutor, Ops, Jade Avenger, Basic Island, Hymn to Turok. They have a lot of Basic Island, Abundant Growth hands so far. It is really, really difficult to mulligan to 5 on the play in this matchup. But I'm gonna. Also really difficult to force on multi 5, so I'll put that back. Yeah, a lot of people say that the audio's fine. A lot of people say the audio's always really low. I have everything turned all the way up, so I really don't know like what I can be doing differently. I think the audio quality got better when I got a new microphone. If anybody has like ideas on what could be happening, because I have my knob turned all the way up, I have it turned all the way up in Slob, so I just don't know what's wrong. But this is feedback I get a lot, so I do agree that it's likely. Yeah, I don't know. It maybe it's just like I'm quieter than most other people. Yeah, it's not that far away, or at least it's not far away enough that it really should matter. Well, if we can just draw our 4th land on curve, we may be okay. Is Twitch audio on the stereo? Could we actually do 5-1 something? I have no idea. I have no idea. This year I've almost never messed with the audio settings. Like the more advanced audio settings. Give me something to look at. Yeah, no, okay, I'm just going to scoot a little bit closer to the mic. But it shouldn't be. I don't know. Maybe it is just I'm just like leaning back too much. Mumbling too much. I'll just do some Googling off stream tonight. This card's an Archon. Slavs. Edit or add filters, select gain. Scale filtering. Add filter gain. Okay, I'm going to increase the gain. Let's do 5. It says 5.1. How's this? Did that change anything? Does that sound better? Already better? Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, chatter. Yeah, it's definitely feedback I've been getting for a while. I just don't, I have no idea what to do. Yeah, my computer fan is, kind of loud. That may be what you're picking up on. I have it. That's so much. I just can't do it, chat. I can't get spell pierced all day, every day. One man can only take so much. Yeah, I should have left 2 mana up. My opponent did not discard anything. I feel like my death is coming. Yeah, if we draw Oracle, we could win. The problem is we don't have quadruple blue. I don't think we should counter this. It's going to be a hard card to beat, though. Maybe not that hard. Why do we fetch the forest? I was thinking I might want to Ice-Fang block a Shaman. I also didn't really think about quadruple blue being super relevant. But I think it's more relevant than I thought. I also think that if I just draw a brick, I just have to cast Inverter and hope they don't have creativity. I don't think I'll have like any other options. Well, that's not a brick. So do I want to trade Endurance for Shaman Dwarf? Yeah, I think. Just seems fine. Good chance they just take it. Jump block is also reasonable. So, good chance they go like ping, I flash and block, just lose to creativity. I've been thinking about the creativity matchup a lot with a lot of different decks, and it really does feel like this game is maybe not the best example, but there's feels like there's a lot of moments where it's like, okay, I can just like never beat a creativity at any point in this game, and you just have to stop even thinking about that card at all, and they just don't have it a decent amount of the time. I feel like a lot of creativity players win a lot of games because their opponents just respect creativity the whole time, but it's just not there. Very similar to Splitting Twin, of course. Looks like they have Hardcast Archon, maybe? Obviously. They could have creativity here. They didn't discard anything with Fable, so it would make sense. But again, it's not like we have any chance to beat it. Alright. Well, we were 7-3 on the day. Definitely not bad. Definitely not bad. I think I'm likely to play this in the challenge this weekend unless I find something else I want to play more. But I think right now I'm going to go eat lunch and then take a little bit of a break, and then I'll be back this afternoon, evening for Dark Souls. We can try to plan for like a 3 p.m. start time. Let's shoot for around 3 p.m., you know, give or take a few minutes. And I will be back. Really wish we got the trophy earlier. I'll be back in a couple hours.